If I were to attend a high school or a university reunion, you know, that type of events where most people just flex at each other, I would have no idea what to boast about. I'm 42, no kids, no stability in life, a very vague future, living in a rental in a country where I cannot even obtain a temporary residency, and having very weak business ambitions, if any, and working as a YouTube author on top of that. Many people would be embarrassed to share this, including the past me. But honestly, I would never attend such events, these type of reunions, because it's a personal nightmare for me. But seeing so many people offline and online living their best and productive life, as far as we viewers can judge, of course, I often feel like I'm inside that special effect scene when I stand still while crowds of people around me move and succeed and achieve and progress, while I am stuck in non-achievement. But it's a distorted perception that I didn't invite and that is being forced upon me, and I bet on many of you as well. In this video, I will address the idea of wasting your best years and why it's nonsense. We live in a modern world where time frames are diluted and vague and influenced by numerous changing factors, where politics and geopolitics, for example, are outside the control of an individual, but they impact that individual so much. And what are the best years after all? One study sought to find out, and according to a sample of 50-year-old people looking back over their life, the answer is between age 30 and 34. But it's a statistical average that is not true for many people. I didn't enjoy my 20s that much. 30s were fun, but I wouldn't like to go back there. And the 40s are still going on, and I have to make my opinion about them. But overall, it's pretty much like 30s, but with more health problems. I will share with you 3 insights proving that the whole idea of wasting your best years is harmful. But as with everything in this world, the thing is not black and white. And in the end of the video, I will offer you one sign suggesting that you might be wasting your life. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Anna, and this channel is about the gentle philosophy of finding and nourishing your true self through meaningful ideas, relationships, and things. Please keep in mind that here I voice only my personal, very subjective opinion based on my experience, on my way of thinking, which can be very different from yours, and it's completely okay. It's okay to be different and to be strange. Recently, in a blog, I've read a quote that I've fallen in love with. Cultivate your legitimate strangeness. There was no author mentioned, and I got very keen to find out. And it is a line from a poem by a French poet and member of French resistance, René Char. The way that this quote sounds in French is just utterly beautiful. Développez votre étrangeté légitime. And this is what we all need, right? To cultivate our strangeness, our independence, and to choose the routes that are unbeaten and unlinear. And before I delve into the idea of life not being a checklist, let me tell you how my romance with French language is developing, all thanks to Lingoda, an online language learning school and a sponsor of this part of the video. I joined Lingoda roughly 2 months ago, and I started relearning French from A1 level, and I'm already on A2, and it's been so much fun. The comfort of studying at home relieves the stress, and thanks to highly qualified and engaging teachers, the process is smooth and enjoyable. In addition to live classes, Lingoda offers very effective self-learning tools that were created and curated by language experts. Besides, after each live class, I get a feedback from the teacher saying where I did well and where I need to improve, which keeps the light of my motivation burning. Right now, Lingoda offers a spring sale with up to 35% off the Lingoda Flex plan, where you can choose between group classes, which include up to 5 people, or one-on-one lessons. You can choose between 5 to 40 classes a month to match your language goals and time availability. The plan can be changed or cancelled at any time. Lingoda offers a 7-day free trial during which you can try either 3 lessons in groups or 1 lesson one-on-one with a teacher. If you feel like finally starting your language learning journey, use my code ANNA35 to claim up to 35% off Lingoda Flex. You will find the link in the description section, and please remember that the offer is valid only until the 2nd of June. Life is not a checklist. It's not just a string of events happening in the order predetermined by some brochure or guidelines. It's not moving from one point to another following some dashed line. It's all about making sense of what is happening and who you are amidst all of that. In our modern world, we are primarily defined by what we are doing for a living, and we let our business card introduce ourselves. But what happens when you lose a job? Or on a bigger scale, if you lose a profession? For example, I used to be a marketing translator, and I'm not one anymore. So did the core of my personality cease to exist? No. Not really. Do I regret not exercising all the ambitious opportunities while I had my very good 9-to-5 job? No. I haven't wasted those years because my ambitions there, first of all, were not future-proof, and my industry has died, or at least the tiny little branch that I was sitting on has died. Things that we consider a waste have a story that we need to hear without muting it. Staying in a relationship without any future that are destructive for you, or making unhealthy life choices, or voluntarily stagnating while everyone else races through, all these has a story that you need to know, that you need to accept. And that story matters. And everything that matters cannot be a waste and is not a waste. Recently, a friend was very surprised when I told her that I used to smoke, and not just for fun, but for over 10 years. In her opinion, I am not a type of person who smokes or used to smoke, but it happened, and I'm not embarrassed by this experience. Back then, I was who I was, and of course, I didn't make a healthy choice, and I didn't tick off the healthy youth box on my life checklist. But what I got was a clear understanding what an addiction can be like and how to approach it with compassion. I've seen a few videos here on YouTube where people tick off the boxes on their 30 before 30 or 40 before 40 checklists, like things that they would like to achieve, to do, to make before they turn 40 or 30. And these lists don't give me discomfort or anxiety, but rather bewilderment. Because it's hard for me to believe that all those authors have that much of confidence in their future, including their future self, what they would like to do, who they would like to become, while I cannot even stick to a 1-week meal plan. And of course, this sometimes gives me the feeling that something is wrong with me. And I would be very appreciative if you let me know how do you feel about such lists and whether you stick to your aspirational goals or not. But the thing is that common assessment and comparison tools don't work anymore, because what they really do is cut everyone human into a perfectly shapeless lump of a human. And it's a very sad tendency. Life is not an algorithm that you need to crack, neither it's a checklist or a roadmap. Oftentimes, life is a chaotic heap of puzzle pieces that gives you massive anxiety because you've lost the box and you have no idea what the resulting picture would be like. But the beauty of this situation that we are in is that you will get to see the picture as you progress. The stone has no uncertainties, no urge to communicate, and is eternally the same for thousands of years, while I am only a passing phenomenon which bursts into all kinds of emotions like a flame that flares up quickly and then goes out. External factors do influence you, and you are not responsible for everything happening in your life. A very dangerous mindset that is so widely spread now is that you choose your life. Through manifesting, through being proactive, through perfect planning and productivity. And whenever you fail and you get crushed into pieces, you hear something like, oh, you should have planned better, or you should have asked the universe better. Most of my plans were ruined, not by me, but by circumstances. And even now, every day I have at least one wave of anxiety and of horror thinking of what else can happen. And of course now I'm good at extinguishing that wave right away as soon as it raises its ugly head. But there was time when I really believed that my life was a solitary castle, uninvadable, invincible, uninfluenceable. But then 2022 came, but first 2020, then 2025. Wars, pandemic, natural disasters, financial crisis, immigration crisis, and then what? I don't know, alien invasion? Should we prepare better for that? Recently, in a conversation, Brian said, "Our best years have been stolen from us." And I partly agree with this, the part about the reality of those in power stealing from our future. The idea of blaming an individual for not being productive and successful and positive enough is beneficial for no one but a handful of people in the world, and you probably know who I mean. Of course, optimism is awesome and wholesome, but shifting the responsibility for going through challenging experiences sucks. When you blame yourself for not doing enough, you either linger in frustration or race yourself until you burn out. In a way, in many situations, we are like poor racing greyhounds chasing an artificial lure and making money for those who feed us and take care of us until we cannot race anymore. Sorry for this gloomy metaphor, but we often disregard this fact and then willfully nod when someone tells us it's your fault for losing the race. But no, it's not, and you don't have to run better. You don't have to win to please someone. Worry, at its core, is the repetitious experience of a mind attempting to generate a feeling of security about the future, failing, then trying again and again and again, as if the very effort of worrying might somehow help forestall disaster. There is no equality in people. We all have different backgrounds, different startup capitals, as they call it, different health, different mindsets, different ways of thinking, habits or dreams or looks. Equality is an illusion that makes you feel inferior every time you fail to reach a height that your peer has reached and you cannot. Believing in the myth of equality, we end up doing the same things as other people do without any chance of standing out, not even for others, but standing out for our own selves. And with all these, it's so easy to put on that wasted best years attitude and blaming yourself for not becoming someone that you were not destined to become, first of all. But there is no equality is only the first part of the insight, and the whole sentiment sounds like there is no equality, but it doesn't mean that your personal happiness matters less than the happiness of others. You deserve love, fulfillment, and happiness regardless of who and what you are throughout your life. We have this outdated dogma installed in our minds that if you make a mistake, if you fail, if you waste something, if you lose something, then you will have to pay. And then it's so easy to think that you will always have to pay for your wasted years, but no. Even if you perceive some years, some period of your life as a wasted one, it doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be free, to be fulfilled and happy in the end and after all. Thankfully, life is not a school where so much depends on you passing all the tests and getting good marks. That would be such an oversimplification. When I worked as a school teacher, I used to hate the whole knowledge assessment system, because there were kids who could learn any text by heart and then recite it seamlessly, but they didn't understand really the meaning, the core message of that text. They didn't process it fully. But as a teacher, I was required to give those kids excellent marks. But there were other kids who grasped the core, the message, but still they failed regular tests because those tests were based on some not necessary details. And I was required to give those kids worse marks. And it was not fair at all. So let's not be stuck in a school paradigm. And this brings me to one sign that you might be actually wasting your life. It happens when you let someone tell you how to live your own life. Yes, it's simple as that. So whenever you have even the slightest shadow of a doubt in your mind, a shadow of a thought that you might be wasting your best years or that you have wasted them, just question, is it your voice sounding in your head or it's someone else's? For example, I have a bunch of such voices talking to me in my head, but I'm doing my best to learn to be louder. Feel free to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments, but please don't forget to be respectful and kind. Thank you so much for your time and attention and support of my work. And as always, for now, be safe and keep your heart open. And I will see you soon. Пока-пока.